Hello everybody, today we'll be reading from Moscow, 1937, and we'll be reading The Last Days of the Ashen Regime. All this was just the tip of the iceberg. At the height of the period of discrimination, this group amounted to around 4 million people. They had been excluded by the Soviets from participation in elections and access to universal rights in the constitutions of 1918 and 1926. They were regarded as capitalist elements, supporters of the Ashen regime, businessmen, clerics, members of the Tsar's secret police, the Okhrana, the white armies, and the people who had employed wage laborers and did not depend on their living for what they themselves had earned. Their disenfranchisement meant that they were also the right to lose their home, work, schools, and universities. They were in effect outlaws and at the mercy of informers and the authorities. They were in effect outlaw from all society. Many professions were especially hit hard by this exclusion. Traders, small farmers, members of the Orthodox clergy, rabbis, mullahs, pastors, former members of the officer corps. They and above all their families were the preferred, indeed foreseeable victims of the selection and deportation programs of 1929, 1934, and 1935. They were excluded from schools, pensions, medical care, certain professions, and they were denied the right to obtain food rations. Since they had access to neither work nor home, they were in effect condemned to a semi-legal, semi-criminal existence. The existence of these lichtensi was scarcely tolerable, but its main impact was its disciplinary function. Everyone in this group could be blackmailed, unmasked, and eliminated. The drive to unmask more people took on the features of a sport, and surviving this hunt more or less intact became a never-ending challenge, with the inevitable impact on people's nerves. The fact that the group affected was anything but they could be gleaned from the numbers of those suffering the exclusion from the elections in the Moscow region in 1928-29, and at the time more than 200,000 of them, and 85% made efforts to recover their rights. The practical efforts of excluding such a large number of people made it easy to understand the approval and the enthusiasm which greeted the new style and constitution, particularly among this cohort. The text of Article 135 granted the right to vote to all and did away with the discrimination in Lenin's Constitution of 1918. From now on, they could not only send their children to school, join college elective farms, and receive food ration cards. But even after the construction had been approved, there was still confusion and uncertainty about how Article 135 should be interpreted, and whether all restrictions had been lifted, and whether those who had been banished could now return. The restitution of rights, it proclaimed, coming on the heels of the exclusions, followed the Revolution and Civil War, together with the new appeal to national pride, generate a new mood of social unity, with Strelow's entry on the broadcast announcing the Constitution on December 6, 1936, read, "Celebration of the Constitution the whole day long, the radio glowed with the patriotic excitement and socialist triumph." Australia admired the government's achievements in integrating the population in the Soviet Empire. The old principle is reiterated. People are proud. I am a Soviet citizen. Long live the USSR. Long live the Soviet state. Long live the united great Soviet nation. However, the creation of a broad national census in a time of crisis and inevitability went hand in hand with the control and elimination of every conceivable risk that might be lurking in the generally free and universal elections. The first election campaign following the passing of the new constitution culminated on December 12, 1937. It was accompanied by a mass murder campaign, during which the potential representatives of alternatives were promptly targeted and destroyed. In the course of this murder campaign, which the observers of the election campaign, Nikolai Urstrelov was killed together with 500,000 others.